The Fatima Incident is one of the most famous and controversial religious events of the 20th century. Taking place in 1917 in Fátima, Portugal, this event involved three young shepherd children who claimed to have experienced visions of the Virgin Mary. These apparitions continued for months, attracting the attention of thousands of people. The phenomenon reached its peak on October 13, 1917, when a large crowd gathered to witness what is now called the Miracle of the Sun. This event remains an important part of Catholic history and has been recognized by the Vatican. At the time of the Fatima Incident, Portugal was going through significant political and social changes. The country was under a republican government that was strongly anti-clerical, meaning that the influence of the Catholic Church was being reduced. Many religious practices were discouraged, and tensions between the government and the Church were high. In this environment, religious experiences such as visions of the Virgin Mary were seen as both miraculous and politically sensitive. The three children at the center of the Fatima event, Lúcia dos Santos and her cousins Francisco and Jacinta Marto, were simple shepherds from a rural background. They could not have anticipated that their experience would become one of the most famous religious phenomena in modern history. The three children claimed that on May 13, 1917, they saw a bright light while tending to their sheep in the fields of Cova da Iria, near the town of Fátima. Within this light, they saw a beautiful lady, dressed in white, with a brilliant glow surrounding her. The figure identified herself as the Virgin Mary and told them to return to the same place on the 13th day of each month for the next 6 months. According to the children, the Virgin Mary shared several messages and prophecies with them. These included warnings about the future of the world, calls for repentance, and instructions for praying the Rosary. The children said that the lady promised a great miracle in October to convince people that their visions were real. At first, many people doubted the children's claims. The local authorities, who were hostile to religion, arrested and threatened them, hoping to make them confess that they were lying. However, the children never changed their story. As word spread, more and more people began following them to the site of the apparitions, hoping to witness something miraculous. On October 13, 1917, an estimated 70,000 people gathered in the fields of Cova da Iria. Many were religious believers, but some were journalists, skeptics, and curious onlookers who wanted to see if the children's prophecy would come true. The crowd stood under a rainy, cloudy sky, waiting for the promised event. Suddenly, according to multiple reports, the clouds parted, and the sun appeared as a spinning, disc-like object. Witnesses described seeing the sun dance in the sky, change colors, and move erratically. Some people thought the sun was falling toward the earth, causing panic. Others described the event as a powerful supernatural sign. Interestingly, even some non-religious observers and journalists reported seeing strange solar phenomena. The event was later called the Miracle of the Sun, and it became one of the most well-documented religious events of the time. However, some scientists and skeptics have offered alternative explanations. They argue that the event could have been an optical illusion, a natural atmospheric phenomenon, or mass hysteria. Despite these explanations, many believers remain convinced that the event was a true miracle. During the apparitions, the Virgin Mary supposedly gave the children 3 secrets, which were later revealed over time. The first secret was a vision of hell, which the Virgin showed to the children. She warned that many souls were in danger unless people repented and turned to God. The second secret was a prophecy that World War I would end, but if people did not change their ways, a second, more terrible war would follow. The third secret remained mysterious for many years. The Vatican finally revealed it in 2000, stating that it predicted the assassination attempt on Pope John Paul II in 1981. However, some believe that the full secret was never completely disclosed. After the apparitions, the two younger children, Francisco and Jacinta, died at a young age due to the influenza pandemic of 1918. Lúcia dos Santos became a nun and lived until 2005, continuing to share her experiences and devotion to the Virgin Mary. The site of the apparitions, Fátima, became one of the most important Catholic pilgrimage destinations in the world. Every year, millions of people visit the sanctuary of Our Lady of Fátima, where a basilica and a chapel now stand. In 2017, Pope Francis canonized Francisco and Jacinta Marto, officially recognizing them as saints in the Catholic Church. This was a historic moment, as they became the youngest non-martyr saints in Catholic history. Despite the deep religious significance of the Fatima event, scientists and historians have debated its authenticity. Some common explanations include mass hysteria. Large groups of people can sometimes experience shared illusions, especially when they expect to see something miraculous. Atmospheric phenomena. Some suggest that the miracle of the sun might have been a rare meteorological event, such as a parhelion or light refraction. Retinal effects. Looking at the sun for too long can create optical illusions and color changes. However, for many Catholics, these explanations do not diminish the significance of the event. They believe that Fatima was a true divine intervention. The Fatima Incident remains one of the most fascinating and debated religious events in modern history. Whether seen as a miracle, an optical illusion, or a psychological phenomenon, it has left a lasting impact on Catholic faith, history, and pilgrimage traditions. Over a century later, Fatima continues to inspire millions of believers worldwide, and the mystery surrounding it remains as powerful as ever.